Oh, hi! This week, I'm going to make a better t-shirt pillow for my best friend who I made kind of a slapdash, not particularly great t-shirt pillow for in the past, but it's what I felt capable of at the time. So I'm not embarrassed about that project, but like I can do better. Where this time around, I'm gonna use an actual pillow form. This is a 14 by 14 inch one. I'm also gonna use that goddamn t-shirt interfacing that has been eluding every crafter I know this entire year and was gifted to me by my fairy god Cheryl. It's supposed to be really good for t-shirt quilts, which this will be a test run for potential future projects that will be much more time consuming than a t-shirt pillow. I wonder what it could be. Ooh, and I left this on the dustiest shelf, so it's nice and grimy. The t-shirt of choice has been hacked and slashed a bunch of times. This is from the first concert I ever went to with my best friend. And I'm not talking like little street punk shows in a local VFW hall. I mean, like actually stood in line to get tickets, went to the actual concert. The dates are on the back, and ours was April 6th, 2007. That was a long time ago. I have two other very, very close friends that put up with my concert going bullshit back 2007 to like 2010, I'd say. I put my friends through a lot, and also my sister. Thank you all for dealing with me. Like, I never drank at any of the shows or did other barbiturates. I don't know that that's the correct use of that term, but that word makes me laugh a lot. Yeah, it was just the absolute biggest priority in my life, and I definitely don't feel that way anymore. Now that I am a tired husk of a human being, I do appreciate getting to look back on those memories and thinking like, man, we got to do some really cool stuff. I don't think of it as like glory days, like, oh, things will never be as good as they were then. I would not want to trade what I have now for what I had then. I'm much happier now. But they were fun times, exhausting. How did we miss all that sleep? I guess that's just what you get to do when you have the energy of a 19 to 21-year-old is stay awake for more than 12 hours straight. But we would do these trips to New York. I made a point to go to New York at least once a month in one particular year. It must have been 2008 or 2009 then. We'd get up at the crack of dawn, roll into New York at like noontime, go find some food, walk around the city, spend as little money as possible, but see as much of New York as we could. And then at 9 or so, go to whatever venue the concert was happening at. That'd get out at like 1 a.m. earliest. And then we'd fucking drive back home and then go to work or school the next day because some of us were in college. Not me. I did not go to college. How though? My friends just being the most supportive, most patient humans with my bullshit back then, where I would make them wait after concerts to meet whatever band had played if it seemed like an option. I actually don't collect much, but I used to collect autographs in a very peculiar way, easy to transport way, and if you want to see my collection, I will show you. I'm very proud of the idea I had for it, and people would sign the thing I had them sign and comment on how they hadn't seen someone do that before, and it made me very happy because apparently being unique is something to hang my hat on. I don't know. It was just easy and convenient for me to do. If you want to see that collection, maybe I could do it as like a bonus video sometime. It's not that I even care about the autograph. It's just that it was a good icebreaker. It was a good excuse to have to go up to talk to someone. It really genuinely helped me get out of my shell because something that the friend I'm making this pillow for would say to me if I was too nervous and kind of on the fence about actually going up to say hi to someone who I had on a pedestal basically and idolized and everything, is she would say, will you regret not doing it? And of course I would. So that always made me go up and say hi. And it really, really helped me try to be a normal socialized human being, is going up in like the most extreme circumstances. Almost never was disappointed. Most people are just fucking people. Where listen, I understand having social anxiety and having a hard time when people are like, oh my god, I think you're so great. Can you like sign this for me and take pictures and like give me the most wonderful moment of my life now, please? Thank you. On the spot when you're tired after a show. I do have empathy for that. Oh boy. Anyways, nostalgia road trip aside, let's figure out how big this shirt needs to be. I feel like I have a hard time with math on pillow forms, but I rolled this on my mat here from like seam over across to the other seam, and that is 15 inches. So I think the squares of fabric I need to make need to be 15 by 15. Okay, so this is what I came up with. I have 15 inches this way, 15 inches this way. Back panel got a little fucked, but but not too bad. I just didn't line it up as evenly. I was smart about the front and fucking pinned it in place like a responsible seamstress. So yeah, I did the corners at, you know, not necessarily exactly 45-degree angles, but I just wanted it all to be even. And then I matched it up with this and cut it out the same way so that wherever the brown is on the top corner, it'll match up. So I'm gonna line up this straight edge here, right sides together here and here. Go in as narrow as I can. It'll probably be a little under 1/4 of an inch, I think. And then same on this side. All right, here's what that first panel looks like. I obviously still have to square it up, and then I'm gonna hit it with interfacing. I'm just gonna iron it on the back. There's nothing fancy. I'm actually weirdly excited to iron because it's raining harder than the beginning of Rockadoodle, and Chanticleer's nowhere in sight. How often do I talk about Chanticleer when it's raining? Because I feel like if I'm filming and it's raining like it is today, all I think about is that stupid fucking bird. Also, because it's cold, I was about to button up my shirt and I realized it's on inside out. Were any of you gonna tell me, or were you just gonna let me go about my day like this? Because I'm insulted, frankly. All right, I got my edges cleaned up. My interfacing has been pressed on. So now I'm just gonna do a little practice layover and make sure this isn't completely off. You know, I think this is gonna work. I'm going to line up these two panels right sides together. Really make a point to line up where these seams are right here. Heck yeah, this is gonna line up perfect. Cool, cool, cool. So I'm gonna do a stitch around, but I'm gonna leave a pretty decent gap because we gotta stuff that pillow form into here. All right, here's our little dude all sewn together. I did trim the seam allowance just to make everything nice and even. Now it's time to flip, 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 Flipadelphia. And grab my trusty old chopstick to do the corners. It's so weird feeling this t-shirt that I wore many, many times over many, many years to not feel like a t-shirt anymore. It gives me hope for the other project I want to do with my t-shirts. I mean, you can guess what that project's going to be, but I am cloaking it in such a thick veil of mystery that, like, I don't think you can figure it out. It's definitely not something that every single crafter I've ever met that has ever, like, looked at a sewing machine has set aside t-shirts for. Oh, hell yeah. I did such a good job lining up those edges. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so, so glad. This is coming out really nice. It doesn't look terrible. All right, and now the stuffing. Let's see how this goes. Maybe grab both these corners, mush it in together a little bit. Also, yes, I'm 100% in my pajamas. I got a little snuggly dog next to me over here. It's cold as shit, and I'm just sewing in my basement studio today, so why put actual pants on? Oh, you know, I don't know why I took all that time to, like, shape it all out when I still have to close this. And the way I'm gonna go about this, I'm gonna do it by machine just because it's gonna look neater. So I'm gonna mush the pillow in as much as I can, and then take this edge, fold this seam in on itself. And I didn't trim any of this down so that I had extra flappage to fold in. So I'll get that nice and straight and neatly tucked in. And then I'll just seal that up with a nice, neat, small straight stitch. Dun, 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 dun! It's done! Okay, clearly a much more leveled up version of that one I made her last time around. This is what that bottom stitching looks like. And I'm just so proud of how these are lined up. I love it. I love it so much. So yeah, that's this project wrapped up, and I will now be wrapping it up. That was not an intentional pun lead-in, but here we are. I'm actually hand making almost all the gifts I will be giving for the holidays this year, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. I actually have most of them done already, which is nice. I'm hoping to have all of them done by the end of November. I would like to avoid the mid-December post office frenzy if I can help it. I'm feeling really good, and I feel good about the quality of my sewing these days. I'm just more confident about my sewing now than I ever have been, and normally I'm really self-conscious about giving gifts because I don't want someone to just think I was looking for the cheaper way out. Yes, I'm using stuff that I have in-house for pretty much everything, I think, but it's also fabric I have reserved for these gifts, and a lot of the time the fabric is what gave me the idea for the project that I made for the person. There will be certain designs or feels to something that just scream a certain person, so that's what I went into with a lot of these things. And yeah, I hope everyone likes the stuff I've made because I have been putting a lot of time and like months of planning. Yeah, I'm feeling okay about it. I'm feeling better than I think I ever have about making gifts for people, especially it being Thanksgiving week. I can't not thank all of my patrons. Y'all are keeping this whole ship running, and thank you. I don't have other words to say. These also never feel like quite enough. Literally wouldn't be able to do this without y'all. Thank you. I'm going to get off of my cheese-drenched soapbox and go hang out with my pup and do some editing. Go make some food, I think. Should probably eat. Make sure you're eating and drinking water. Hydration check-in. Cheers. I will see you all back here with another video next Friday. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Listen, I'm an adult and can dress myself.